Hey guys, Qaphi here. This video is going to be a full setting guide for consoles. I'm going to be going through each setting which I've adjusted and feel is important to help you guys find your best settings in game. There are some amazing adjustments I've made for better aim as a soldier, but also for helicopters, managing recoil and for better visibility and awareness. So first, I have crossplay set off, and you're probably wondering why. Well, that's because PC players currently have a big advantage due to the aim assist in game for console being very inconsistent. But all other settings under the general tab I leave as on. Now, if you've watched my previous videos, you've probably noticed that I've changed a few settings around to my preference, such as sensitivity and field of view. So for the field of view, I have set to 90. That is because if you max this out, you give too much of a fisheye effect, which makes it hard to see people at those longer ranges. So I've found that 90 is the perfect balance between too high and too low. But for the third person vehicle field of view, I've maxed this out because in vehicles, you want to see what is going on easily around you, such as the guy that's trying to C5 your tank, or that helicopter which won't leave you alone. For ADS field of view, I've put this on. This is a very important setting. It helps reduce that visual recoil in game. I'll also move into Deadzone settings later, which can really help with managing recoil. Brightness is very dependent on your monitor, but I have mine set to 50, and motion blur and all the other cinematic settings I have set off. Having all these settings off makes it a lot more easier to see enemy players and prevents you getting blinded by lighting in game. Now onto the HUD, I have everything on default, but I have the camera shake amount set to 50. This is the minimum amount. This reduces disorientation when hit by explosives, for example. Now, these colour settings I have never blend in with any of the backgrounds on the maps, making objectives and teammates and enemies very clear to the naked eye. You could choose other colours for these, but these are the ones that I've found never blend in on all maps. In addition to this, I have the kill log set to nearby. This is because I can see what is happening in proximity to myself, as it can't hurt to have that extra information on what's happening around you. Now, another colour setting, I have the crosshair set to a pink magenta like colour. This prevents it from blending in with any background on all of the maps. I've also customised my hit indicator colours because it just looks nicer to me. The white indicator can also blend in on breakaway, which is my main reason for changing it to red. Now for the minimap, I have the on foot distance set to 100, so I can see much more of what's going around me, but I'm not zoomed out to the point where I'm struggling to accurately pinpoint where enemy players are. Now for land vehicles, I've ramped this up to 150, but for air vehicles, you obviously want this much higher, so you can be able to pinpoint where those enemy jets and enemy helicopters are on the minimap. Next, under the sound tab, I have these as my custom audio settings. This is my preference. I prefer to have music on. But if you really want to hear those enemy footsteps, you may want to put music down to 0. If you want it on but you want it to be quiet, I'd recommend setting it to 40. I also have 3D headphones on so I can more accurately pinpoint enemy footsteps and firing. I also have subtitles set to off. Now for the controller settings, my controls are exactly as it's shown on the screen now, with the exception of that I shoot with the bumpers rather than the triggers. That means I've also set ping to the right trigger and I access the plus system through holding the left trigger. Also, if you want to have old school Battlefield vehicle settings, set the buttons for the ground vehicle buttons to alternate. I also use the southpaw stick settings and alternate for when flying aircraft. I realise many people don't run these settings, but this is just what's synchronised with my brain the easiest, as I initially found flying very difficult, but eventually I did get the hang of helicopters. So everything under the global tab I have set to off, so I have no inverted vertical look on any of the vehicles, and I also have vibration off for obvious reasons. I now have my sensitivity on 30. This is my personal preference. I found lowering my sensitivity has helped me with engagements at those longer ranges. You should never copy any YouTuber's sensitivity. You should always try and find out what's best for you for yourself. I also have aim assist and aim assist zoom snap set to 100. Honestly, I've fiddled around with these settings a lot, but I still can't find out what suits me best. Aim assist is just a complete mess in the game right now, and I see so many people changing their settings very often. I also have my zoom sensitivity set to 60. This really helps me shooting at longer ranges so I can make minute adjustments. I also have my aiming acceleration set to 0. It is vital to do this if you want consistent movement with the right joystick. Now for the vertical aim ratio, I've set this to 64. When you set the setting to 100, that just means your vertical sensitivity is identical to your horizontal sensitivity. Preferably, I like to have higher horizontal sensitivities because you only really have to make minute changes with your vertical sensitivity in engagements, like when someone's running up a slope on hourglass. Uniform soldier aiming, definitely put this on. It really helps for muscle memory when aiming. I've also set my coefficient to 40. This is another setting which I've also messed around with, but I'm going to show you a few tweaks that I've made. Since the coefficient is so low, that makes the sensitivity with higher zoom scopes become very slow. So I've adjusted my sniper scopes to 150 to speed the sensitivity when aiming down sight. This really makes it nice when I'm sniping and also run and gunning. Basically, making it best for both worlds. Vehicle sensitivity is just the same as on foot, makes sense. Now, this is one amazing setting which changed the way I fly helicopters. This is turning off helicopter control assists. If you are not pressing any buttons to fly up or fly down, this will make it so your helicopter automatically hovers. This made it much more difficult for me to aim when using the minigun in the Nightbird, so by turning this off, I found my aim has been loads better. I really recommend turning this one off, guys. Now, next, I also have uniform vehicle aiming on, like I do so for on foot. Now, for controller tuning, I have my center and axial dead zones set to 5. This has really helped me make fine adjustments when aiming, but also when managing recoil. If you want to know how to find the perfect dead zone settings, click the video now in the top right corner. Now I also have the dead zones and max input settings of the triggers set to their lowest settings. That means I only have to press the trigger down a very little amount for it to register in game. So that is my full settings guide for Battlefield 2042 as of January. If today's video helped you in 2042, make sure to leave a like. And if you want more tips and tricks for 2042, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one.